Hello everyone, welcome to the top of Greenhow with the village of Pateley Bridge down there below, beyond the trees. I'm going to read some poetry today from three different centuries, the 19th, 20th and the 21st century. And we're going to end up with a song. All the poetry is love poetry. Some is very romantic, and some is, shall we say, a little bit bawdy. I hope you enjoy all of them. We're going to start off with the 19th century, the great John Keats, and a number of his poems. I'm going to start with this one called Fill for Me a Brimming Bowl. Fill for me a brimming bowl, and let me in it drown my soul. But put therein some drug designed to banish women from my mind. For I want not the stream inspiring that fills the mind with fond desiring, but I want as deep a draught as e'er from Lethe's wave was quaffed. From my despairing heart to charm the image of the fairest form that e'er my revelling eyes beheld, that e'er my wandering fancy spelled. In vain, away I cannot chase the melting softness of that face, the beaminess of those bright eyes, the breast, earth's only paradise. My sight will never more be blessed, for all I see has lost its zest. Nor with delight can I explore the classic page or muse's lore. Had she but known how beat my heart, and with one smile relieved its smart, I should have felt a sweet relief. I should have felt the joy of grief. Yet as a Tuscan, mid the snow of Lapland, thinks on sweet Arno, even so for ever shall she be the halo of my memory. Looking down at my crib sheet. This is lovely. This is called You Say You Love. You say you love, but with a voice chaster than a nun's, who singeth the soft vespers to herself while the chime bell ringeth. Love me truly. You say you love, but with a smile cold as sunrise in September, as you were St. Cupid's nun and kept his weeks of ember. Oh, love me truly. You say you love, but then your lips, coral tinted, teach no blisses more than coral in the sea. They never pout for kisses. Oh, love me truly. You say you love, but then your hand, no soft squeeze for squeeze returneth. It is like a statue's, dead, while mine to passion burneth. Oh, love me truly. Oh, breathe a word or two of fire. Smile as if those words should burn me. Squeeze as lovers should. Oh, kiss, and in thy heart inurn me. Oh, love me truly. Powerful stuff. Now, this is more traditional as a romantic love poem. Good name as well, classical romantic name. To Emma. Oh, come, my dearest Emma. The rose is full blown, the riches of Flora are lavishly strewn. The air is all softness, and crystal the streams. The west is resplendently clothed in beams. Oh, come, let us haste to the freshening lakes, the quaintly carved seats, and the opening glades, where the fairies are chanting their evening hymns, and in the last sunbeam the sylph lightly swims. And when thou art weary, I'll find thee a bed of mosses and flowers to pillow thy head. There, beauteous Emma, I'll sit at thy feet, while my story of love I enraptured repeat. So fondly I'll breathe, and so softly I'll sigh, thou wilt think that some amorous zephyr is nigh. Yet no, as I breathe, I will press thy fair knee, and then thou wilt know that the sigh comes from me. Oh, why, dearest girl, should we lose all these blisses? That mortal's a fool who such happiness misses. So smile acquiescence, and give me thy hand, with love-looking eyes, and with voice sweetly bland. To Solitude. O solitude, if I must with thee dwell, let it not be among the jumbled heap of murky buildings. Climb with me the steep, nature's observatory, whence the dell, its flowery slopes, its river's crystal swell, may seem a span. Let me thy vigils keep mongst boughs pavilioned, where the deer's swift leap startles the wild bee from the foxglove bell. But though I'll gladly trace these scenes with thee, yet the sweet converse of an innocent mind, whose words are images of thoughts refined, is my soul's pleasure, and it sure must be almost the highest bliss of humankind, when to thy haunts two kindred spirits flee. And now for the last two from John Keats, we're going to go to Devon, a series of poems he wrote about Devon. And presumably he was on holiday there, or travelling, March 1818. The first one is called Where Be Ye Going, You Devon Maid? Where be ye going, ye Devon maid? And what have ye there in the basket? Ye tight little fairy, just fresh from the dairy, will ye give me some cream, if I ask it? I love your meads, and I love your flowers, and I love your junkets mainly. But hind the door I love kissing more. Oh, look not so disdainly. I love your hills, and I love your dales, and I love your flocks a-bleating. But oh, on the heather to lie together, with both our hearts a-beating. I'll put your basket all safe in a nook. Your shawl I'll hang up on this willow, and we will sigh in the daisy's eye, and kiss on a grass-green pillow. And staying in Devon, this is Dawlish Fair. Dawlish, as you may know, a small resort near Exeter in the south. Over the hill and over the dale and over the bourne to Dawlish, where gingerbread wives had a scanty sale and gingerbread nuts a smallish. Rantipole Betty, she ran down a hill and kicked up her petticoats fairly. Says I, I'll be Jack if you will be Jill. So she sat on the grass debonairly. Oh, here's somebody coming, here's somebody coming. Says I, oh, 'tis the wind at a parley. So without any fuss, any hawing or humming, she lay on the grass debonairly. Oh, here's somebody here and here's somebody there. Says I, hold your tongue, you young gypsy. So she held her tongue and lay plump and fair and dead as a Venus gypsy. Oh, who wouldn't hie to Dawlish Fair? Oh, who wouldn't stop in a meadow Oh, wouldn't rumple the daisies there and make the wild fern for a bed do. There, so that's John Keats. And now we're going to move into the 20th century. The great poet John Betjeman, who was Simon Armitage's, one of his forebears as poet laureate. He was another poet that loved the West Country in Devon, but this is actually about London, where he lived for many years. It's called Myfanwy. Kind o'er the Kinderbank leans my Myfanwy, white o'er the playpen the sheen of her dress. Fresh from the bathroom and soft in the nursery, soap-scented fingers I long to caress. Were you a prefect and head of your dormitory? Were you a hockey girl, a tennis or gym? Who was your favourite? Who had a crush on you? Which were the baths where they taught you to swim? Smooth down the avenue glitters the bicycle, black stocking legs under navy blue serge. Home and colonial, star, international, balancing bicycle leant on the verge. Trace me, you wheel tracks, you fortunate bicycle, out of the shopping and into the dark, back down the avenue, back to the potting shed, back to the house on the fringe of the park. Golden the light on the locks of Myfanwy, golden the light on the book on her knee, finger-marked pages of Rackham's Hans Andersen, time for the children to come down to tea. Oh, Fuller's angel cake, Robertson's marmalade, Liberty lampshade, come shine on us all. My, what a spread for the friends of Myfanwy, some in the alcove and some in the hall. Then what sardines in the half-lighted passages, locking of fingers in long hide and seek. You will protect me, my silken Myfanwy, ringleader, tomboy, and chum to the weak. Page 279, see what delights that brings us. And it brings us to, again, quite a bawdy poem for John Betjeman. It's called Agricultural Caress. Keep me from Thelma's sister, Pearl. She puts my senses in a whirl, weakens my knees and keeps me waiting until my heart stops palpitating. The Debs may turn disdainful backs on Pearl's uncouth mechanic slacks, and outraged see the fire that lies and smoulders in her long-lashed eyes. Have they such weather-freckled features, the smooth, sophisticated creatures? Ah, not to them such limbs belong, such animal movements sure and strong, such arms to take a man and press in agricultural caress, his head to hers, and hold him there, deep buried in her chestnut hair. God shrive me from this morning lust for supple farm girls. If you must, send the cold daughter of an earl, but spare me Thelma's sister, Pearl. And from the 20th century, we now get to the 21st century. And this is a relatively new poem, well, very new poem. I came across it on Instagram. It's a young poet, and she gave me consent to read it to you. It is a love poem, but a poem of lost love. Like a violent crash of clarity, brings the realization that this is no longer my hometown anymore. All that's left is ever-fading, haunting memories. The bittersweet, idealistic notion of what could have been for you and me. But these familiar roads no longer feel the same. They just linger with the same unresolved pain. And all I know for sure is it's no longer you that I adore. And I whisper it to the empty wind. Goodbye. Well, there you have 3 centuries of poetry, and we'll finish with a song. You may remember I sang the Hippopotamus Song by Flanders and Swan. This is another of their animal songs, and it is called the Warthog Song. I hope you like it. Again, it's a love song. Just before I sing, I'm going to have a quaff of juice. That's better. Sometimes this is known by a sort of subtitle of the post-hibernation ball. The jungle was holding a party, a post-hibernation ball. The ballroom was teeming with waltzing gazelles, gorillas, zebras, and all. But who is this animal, almost in tears, pretending to powder her nose? A poor little warthog who sits by herself in a pink satin dress with blue bows. Again, she is nobody's choice. She sings in a sad little voice. No one ever wants to court a warthog, though a warthog does her best. I've spent a lot of money for a warthog. I am kiss-proofed and prettily dressed. I've lost to rinse my hair, I'm powdered here and there. My gums were tinted when I brushed my teeth. I'm young and in my prime, but a wallflower all the time, 'cause I'm a warthog, just a warthog. I'm a warthog underneath. Take your partners for a lady's excuse me. Excited and radiant, she runs on the floor to join the furore and fuss. She taps on each shoulder and says, "Excuse me," and each couple reply, "Excuse us." Then, having no manners at all, they sing as they dance round the hall. No one ever wants to court a warthog, though a warthog does her best. She's spent a lot of money for a warthog. She is powdered and beautifully dressed. She's powdered here and there. I suddenly forgot my words there, so I have picked up the pages. I was always doing this in pantomime. It became quite a tradition. So we'll start almost where we left off. Take your partners for a lady's excuse me. Excited and radiant, she runs on the floor to join the furore and fuss. She taps on each shoulder and says, "Excuse me," and each couple reply, "Excuse us." Then, having no manners at all, they sing as they dance round the floor. No one ever wants to court a warthog, though a warthog does her best. Her accessories are dazzling for a warthog. She is perfumed and daringly dressed. We can tell her these and those are like Marilyn Monroe's. Her gown is just a scintillating sheath, but she somehow fails to please, because everybody sees that she's a warthog. Just a warthog. Oh, she's a warthog underneath. Head hanging, she wanders away from the floor, this warthog whom nobody loves. Then stops in amazement, for there at the door is a gentleman warthog, impeccably dressed, in the act of removing his gloves. His fine chiseled face seems to frown as he looks her first up and then down. I fancy you must be some sort of a warthog, though for a warthog you're like a mess. Your makeup's far too heavy for a warthog. You could have chosen a more suitable dress. Did you have to dye your hair? If that's perfume, oh, give me air. I strongly disapprove of scarlet teeth. But let us take the floor, because I'm absolutely sure that you're a warthog. Oh, just a warthog. The sweetest little, neatest little, dearest and completest little warthog underneath. There. I hope you enjoyed that, and see you again soon. Goodbye.